Hi there, and good morning to you. It's just gone 7:30 in the morning, and the reason I'm telling you the time is because this video is going to attempt to follow a horse from this time through to the race, and look at how we can see the Betfair betting chart for that horse develop, and what we can as a result, read from them and take away and therefore use for our advantage when betting. So that's the idea behind this video. It shouldn't be hugely long, but I will take you through this morning, right through to the race. I think that's probably the first time you'll have seen something like this. So I'll just go to the race and I'll hold on for a moment. Okay, here we are, and this is the race we're going to follow. It's the 1250 at Lingfield. It's a 7 furlong handicap. Class 5, fairly ordinary race, as you can see, 7 runners. So nothing amazing about it. The reason I've chosen a 7-runner field is because it's easier then to follow the odds. Well, the race is at the moment, and you can see that at present, Ballistic is the favourite, and that's the horse we're going to actually follow. So looking at the race, the reason why I've chosen it is there's some interesting components of this race which might help us in the development of the chart. So let's take Black Medic. Black Medic's from a good stable, Richard Hannon. Seamus Cronin is an apprentice, claiming 7. Seems to be well thought of by Timeform, and yet Black Medic is sitting at 6-1, 13-2. So when you see 5 stars beside something with Timeform, then generally speaking, this is well thought of. So I'm not quite sure why Black Medic is 6-1. My feeling with that is that that should come in as the day develops. My downside is having an apprentice on the horse. Ballistic, Raul de Silva in a lot of form at the moment. However, Robert Cowell, 80% of his winners come at 5 furlongs, and he is much better at other courses. He doesn't do particularly well at Lingfield. So Ballistic currently it is a favourite. There's a feeling that there's money going away from it, but I don't see that on the chart. We'll have a quick look at the chart in a minute. Grandstand. Andrew Balding's gone a bit quiet recently, but David Probert and Andrew Balding is normally a very good pair. Out of form at the moment, Andrew Balding, so not really thinking that Grandstand's going to do much, because I'd like to see the trainer in form. Axel Jacqueline, good jockey, good trainer, solid partnership. Again, if there's some kind of a stable support for that, then we'll see it in the betting probably this morning. But Axel Jacqueline at the moment is 3rd favourite, and we'll see where he goes. Temple Wonder, I would say I like Robert Winston, but I don't think he's one of the best jockeys. He does do quite well on the all-weather, though. Charlie Wallace, quite a good up-and-coming trainer. This one is of interest, so High Storm. Carl Burke, as well as some who've been in racing for a while know, Carl Burke's canny operator. Richard Kingscote, an extremely good jockey. I like that pairing. If something happens in the betting to support it, then I'll be very interested in that. Stevie Donahoe and David Sincott. Again, these two are a good pairing. Not the best. I like Stevie Donahoe, but I put him in the category with Winston, and David Simcock does pretty well. I'm not overly enamoured with the form. Timeform seems to give it some, not discounted after a break, so something could happen there. But I'm not really that interested. But we'll see. We'll see what the charts show us, and we'll see how the professionals and how those in the know carry on. So that's just an initial look at the race. I haven't been into all the form, but that's my initial thoughts, and we'll come back and we'll have a quick look at what the charts say at the moment. So here we are, and we pulled up the chart for ballistic. As I said, at the moment, we can see that it's quite a long way favourite. Again, I'm not absolutely certain why that is. Well, it'll be because the way the money is, but I'm not really quite sure from having looked at the race. There are others who I believe have got a chance. We've seen down here, so High Storm is that'll be interesting. We'll have a quick look at that in a minute. So let's quickly go through the chart. So ballistic here, we can see is trading in a corridor between 3.15 and 4.2. So within a 1 point corridor. The majority of the money is coming in this area here. So between 3.45 and 3.8. Has been quite a big bet, actually, considering we're quite some significant time away. It's 7:44, and this is a 12:50 race, so it's 5 hours to go. Seeing a £600 bet there is quite interesting, and it seems to have brought the price in. But this is very, very early days. If we look at the total amount put on the race, it's only £8,557, of which more than a third is in fact for ballistic. But when you consider that there'll be somewhere around about £500,000 to £600,000 on this race when it goes off, we are a very, very long way away from the start. But here we go. We're in the morning, and we might be able to seek out a price. So let's have a quick look at the other chart. So this seems fairly static to me, trading within a half point really, so somewhere in this range. But we'll see it develop, and that's the point of this video. Quick look at the others. Anything strange? No. That's trading within a relatively small corridor as well. Black Medic seems to be going out a bit from the initial 7 to 1, going out to 9, coming into 7s, going out to 9.5. Nothing major there. As you can see, £375 worth of volume, so you can't say really anything about that. That seems to be drifting a bit. That could be stable, coming in with a few little bets. We don't know. Seems to be drifting a bit. That's very stable. Slight drift again. £300, not really worth it. And So High Storm seems to be coming in. Yeah, this is the one I was interested in. Carl Burke. You could think that's some of the stable stuff, waking up fairly early, an hour ago or so, and putting a few quid on, thinking that it's got a bit of a chance. So yeah, there's some interest there, but we'll see how it develops as well. So that's where we're going to stop, and we're going to come back in a couple of hours and have a look and see what the state of play is. I'll probably come back at around about 10 o'clock. Okay, now we're at 9:44. We're about 3 hours away from the race. As I said, the amount of money at the moment being bet is very small. We can see that £26,000 worth of money has been bet so far. In fact, more than half has been put on ballistic. So ballistic does seem to have a lot of early appeal. Those people coming in early for this horse do appear to want to back it. And that's shown in the price as well. It started out at 3. Someone put a decent bet, £175 down there early on, pushed it out to around about 4. Then it did a bit of spiking backwards and forwards as the early market tried to come to some conclusion. And there's been a few decent bets coming in. The one here, which is quite notable, is just nearly £600. Seemed to push the price down a bit. Then there's a decent bet here of somewhere around about 700, which has sort of stabilised that to betting around about 2.78. If we look at the betting corridors and how much has been bet, we can see that this is reflected for the 4.2 or so is the maximum we could have got for this horse this morning. It's gone in. There's been little spikes, but not very many. It's been fairly consistently going in. When you start getting down to the 2.84 and then get down into the 2.74, that's when we are talking about it becoming more stable and coming into a range where everybody seems to be happy to back or to lay, depending on whether it goes down to 2.74, then they're prepared to lay, and if it comes out to sort of over 2.82, then they're prepared to back. So that's the corridor of activity at the moment on ballistic. Let's have a quick look at some of the others. So High Storm, Carl Burke, Richard Kingscote. So I'd be interested in this one early on. Decent movement, reasonable amount of money. Only a sixth of the money is on this horse. Probably expect it to be a little bit more than that at the price. So if the price is 6.2, that's about 5 to 1. So 5 to 1, you kind of expect at 5 to 1 that it will be getting about a fifth of the money. It's not so bad. It's nearly £5,000 on 26, so it is fairly close, but slightly below where I'd expect it, very slightly below. So here again, where's it betting? Well, it seems to be quite a tight corridor between 5.3 and 7.8, and that corridor seems to have come down between 5.5 and sort of where it is now. So with a slight drifting over the last couple of hours. Again, still very early days. Look at it, 4,800 and only 26,000. We're expecting 600,000. So a lot of way to go. Axel Jacqueline, fairly static, slight drift. Temple Wonder, fairly static. Black Medic, definitely on the drift from where it started, and is moving outwards all the time with some kind of support, but definitely drifting. That's a gradual drift, but only £703. Hypnos, £1,000 drifted out. Someone seemed to feel that around about the 20 mark is where it's getting back in. So we'll see what happens to those later on. But I just thought it'd be useful. We're going through the day. We'll see how this develops. But depends on where you're looking. What I'm trying to show is it depends where you're looking, when you're looking, how much money is being put on. Is it being affected? For instance, this is definitely being affected by only about £250 worth of betting. This chart, and back here, that drift was caused by what? £300. So you can see that a drift from what, nearly 11 out to 22 in the morning can be affected by very little money, because at the end of the day, it's only taking £1,000. We are expecting 600,000 on the top here, and at that kind of price, let's say 20 to 1. What's a fifth of 600,000? It's 120,000. So we'd expect 120,000 on 5% of sorry, my fault, a 20th. So 20 is 5,000 every 100, 600,000, 30,000. So we expect 30 times this amount of money to go on to Hypnos. So anything could really happen. This chart will look very different when you see it in a few hours' time. Anyway, I'll stop now, and we will revisit this in a couple of hours' time. Okay, folks, it's 12:34. It's not so far away from the race, and I'm just going to show you quickly what's going on. So we've seen this part of the chart. We saw it coming in. Actually, it did come in quite a long way to about 2.6 or so, 2.66, and then it has started to drift. So I would take this to be a drifter. It's 3.55. Still got a lot. It's a lot of money in there. So this does appear to be significant drifting. And that we may well see that continue to drift because the money is fairly strong for it. High Storm is coming in. Just one moment. So we're also seeing So High Storm, which I said was from the Carl Burke stable. That has been coming in throughout the day. Not that strong in the market, and well, it's 12:36, and this race is due off at 12:50, so there's still some time to go, but we should start seeing the big money coming in, because the 121,000 that we've seen come in so far will go up to about 500,000 or 600,000 by the time the offer's there. So there's still quite a lot to do, but we're seeing that Sohai Storm has got some support in the market, but is relatively weak. So as opposed to Ballistic, which is strong in the market but drifting, we've got Sohai Storm, who's relatively weak in the market and coming in. Axel Jacqueline, fairly static, I'd say. Relatively small amount of money, considering 1/12, when we would expect maybe 1/6 or 1/7. So weak in the market, static. Grandstand is, yeah, again, relatively weak in the market, about right, fairly static. Temple of Wonder is, yeah, really quite weak in the market. You'd expect that to be more like double that amount. And drifting, and Black Medic is static, and Hypnos is not very strong, very weak really in the market, and looks like a bit of a drifter, doesn't look like it's got very much support. So yeah, interesting to see how this continues to progress, but what we're seeing in this marketplace is a relatively strong money attracting favourite, and the rest of the horses are relatively weak, with Sohai Storm looking like it's coming in, and Ballistic looking as if it's going to drift further, and nothing really else coming out of the crowd. Okay, we'll come back to it a bit closer to the time. Okay, now we're back in the room at 12:44, and we're beginning to see some of the more money coming through, 161,000, and we'll start seeing that coming through at about 1,000 a click. It's just 162. A bit less than 1,000 a click, so we're probably not going to get the 500,000 or 600,000 that is normal for a race, but probably because it's the first race of the day. That will certainly see significantly more money, probably doubling. Well, certainly doubling in the last 5 minutes, which means we'll get 300,000-400,000 on it now. So so let's have a quick look at where we are. So we'll have a look at Ballistic again. Ballistic is a rather large bet, £3,000 come in, pushing Ballistic way out. Look at that, 4.3. So we did see this is strongly regarded in the market. It's got about half the amount of money on it, even though it's a 3-to-1 shot. It shouldn't have that amount of money on it. We have seen back here £175 very early in the morning, which pushed it out from 3 to 4. We've seen then it coming in through the morning with low amounts of money, and then drifting, and looks like a drifter to me. And now it's yeah, it's gone with a big bet there, at 3 point. That big bet came in at 3.4, so we can see it in here. 3.4, yeah, the 15 grand odd bets, 3.4. 3.5, and then quite a lot of money. Obviously 6,000s and stuff were there. So so that's the main corridor there. 3.4, 3.5 was the main area where this was trading. We went out to 3.55, and now it's rapidly, in fact, moving outwards to towards 4.5. So we can see that this horse is drifting. We could have done a lot with this. I liked Sohai Storm. I did just do that so I could look at the free streaming. But you can see that I think, and I've been telling you, Sohai Storm is of interest, because it's a Carl Burke's Richard Kingscote horse. It's coming in now, so that we're seeing that having come in during the morning. We're seeing that continue, and the main area of betting so far has been in this area, which is 4 to 4.3. It's now trading down at 3.7, so that when the big money comes in, you're seeing that movement downwards. And we'll just update. So he's still drifting, and he's coming in. We did predict this. We did say that Sohai Storm looked like it was going to be shortening. And we did say that Ballistic looked like it, even though it was strong in the market, it was a drifter. and ballistic is doing exactly that. It's going ballistic. It's into the outer hemisphere now at the moment. It's gone from when we just a moment ago looked at it, which was 3.4. It's gone way out to 5, and that would be the temptation for a betting strategy would have been to see this corridor that was being bet, that we saw was being bet in here, which is around about the 3.5 here in this area here, 3.4, 3.5, would be to have watched that, predicted that this was a drifter, and then when it did start to drift here, get a position down in around about 3.5, well, sorry, 3.7, 3.75, something like that. Take a lay position on it, and if we'd done that at 3.7.5, we would be a good point and a bit ahead. Again, if I'd taken the opposite view, a little bit the opposite view, and said, well, I don't really want to get into laying this horse, I would have potentially gone in with a bigger bet here at 4.3 or so, and then again I would have been 1 point up on the deal and be making money, because that was also predicted that was going to come in. What else is there? Axel Jacqueline, yeah, 10% of the money with it, 6 to 1, relatively weak, going in and out. You should probably expect a reasonable run from it, but in this last period, it's tended to look like a drifter. So I'm not very impressed with Axel Jacqueline. Might run a okay race, may come into a place. Grandstand, they can't make their minds up about that. It's a 7 to 1 shot. It's taken about less than 10% of the money. So again, weak in the marketplace. Not really sure that I'd want to be a lot with Grandstand, but that might run reasonably well. It's Probert and Balding, but Balding hasn't been on top form, so I'm not sure I'd be going with that. Templewood, weak in the marketplace, 10 to 1 shot. Should be around about 40,000. It's 15,000. Very weak in the marketplace, has shown tendencies to go out. That money there is interesting, £750 to push it out. So I would not be happy to be backing Temple Wonder. He's a definite lay for me. Black Medic, decent enough amount of money. That's 5%, 20 to 1, so around about right. But it's again a drifter. So I wouldn't be particularly interested in Black Medic. And Hypnos, yeah, Hypnos you may have a go with. So it's gone in play, and we might as well just see whether some of those predictions from the charts show themselves out. So you're already seeing in running, So High Storm is coming in. We'll have a quick look at the race. Why not? 7 furlong race, and we'll just see how it pans out. Whether we get
the final half
what we think, which is
So
ballistic.
From ballistic,
not really doing well, but you know,
on the outside.
Always with these things, it's you never know. So that's ballistic back there. We think there's a lot of money gone for him. We think he's strong in the marketplace, but a drifter. So High Storm, we think is the one that there's been a tipple on, particularly from a betting stable. So we're thinking that So High Storm is going to probably have a good chance of winning. And this one here is which one's this one? It's the blue one. So High Storm is going to get overtaken. Here we go. Here's one coming through. That's Black Medic, and Black Medic has won it. So there you go. So an outsider won it. One of the weak ones in the marketplace. One that I wouldn't have been particularly interested in backing, but and So High Storm didn't really run the race that it should have. It was out in front. It certainly came in. I mean, if you look at the chart for So High Storm, which we'll do now, we'll just get rid of that. We'll just have a look at the chart for So High Storm, and we'll see what it traded at. So High Storm traded down at good £1,000 at even money. So if you had backed So High Storm, you could have made money in the running. It was obviously fancied. Did run okay for a while. Yeah, there you go. The total match was 553. So you know we're really talking about a huge amount of money going on to a race in the last few minutes and in running. The one that we saw clearly was heavily backed and strongly backed, but in the wrong way, was ballistic. And we've seen that we should have taken note of that, which we did take note of it, and certainly it was a lay bet. Coming down into these ones here, I was not really very happy with any of them. If anybody told me that, then I would have probably said Axel Jack was being okay backed, and I would have probably gone with an Axel Jack option. Black Medic didn't really thrill me. Another quick look at his chart. Yeah, didn't really thrill me. I mean, it's 17 on Betfair, was going out. That's the inverse, by the way, so that gives you the implied chance of winning. So you only had less than a 10% chance of winning as far as everybody was concerned, and then just seemed to come and come and come. So I hope that's given you some insight into two major things that we have to do with Betfair charts is to look at each of the horses and look at what we think is the amount of support it's got, whether it's strong or weak in the marketplace. Look at its general trading pattern, i.e. its corridor of trading, where it's been trading, and how that is affected by different money. And then try and predict and have some kind of approach which says, okay, I never liked ballistic in that race, as you're probably aware from what I was saying. And the reason I didn't like it was strongly backed, but it was a drifter, and so I would have been a layer on ballistic, and I would have been right from the charts. So hopefully that will give you some information about how you would use them, and come to Inside Tracks, and we'll explain a bit more about the different ways in which you can use charts to make money.